Well, Geelong kicked 3-9 in that term, but the Crows kicked 6-3 and they led 104-59. It's 15-14 to 8-11 at three-quarter time. Graham Corns talking to the Adelaide Crows with this big break, and they must sense that they're going to go right on with this as we look to what's coming up on 7 Sport. And don't forget the basketball season. This is the city of the Adelaide 36ers, and the Perth Wildcats, the champions of last year. NBL season fast approaching. Check your local guides for details. Well, Max, did you get closer to Graham Corns at three-quarter time? They must be a bit more relaxed now.
Well, as one would expect, Graham Corns is pleased with the way they're playing, but he's made it very clear that this is where Adelaide has to finish it off. Now, it's games in Adelaide. They're the games that they're going to win, so he wants to see a full commitment in that last quarter. Malcolm Blight, well, he said to his team that they've got to show desperation, a little bit of desperation, otherwise they're going to return to Geelong, which isn't in a great state at the moment, and they're going to be disgraced.
Max Stevens reporting as we look at the match stats. It's the Crows by 45 points on the scoreboard.
And interesting, the stats as far as the kicks go. I thought the Crows would be further in front than what they are. Handballs, interesting that, because Geelong are more or less handballing under pressure, not being able to get the ball away, but the centre breaks still in Adelaide's favour. Tackles 24-17.
The two crunch areas, Don, the tackles in Adelaide's favour and the centre breaks, where it's not usually given away too easily there.
15-14, 8-11. Adelaide to the left and Geelong to the right. Final quarter, first round of the Foster's Cup. Burke goes against Negri. Jarman's quick kick towards half forward. Bruns gets back and takes...
That's quite amazing, Bruns. He was fixing up his boot, not interested in the proceedings, and nearly took the mark.
Well, Tregenza gets it now from 50 metres. Hodges, Neild at the back. Klug should goal. Misses. It's untidy.
They're not really strong punches, are they, by the Geelong, some of those Geelong defenders? The ball just seems to drop at the feet. They could hammer that ball 20 metres.
Well, Schultz, who's done so very well on Klug, looks like he's carrying a corky or something at the moment as Neild's about to bring it in.
Well, Geelong, they look a little undermanned. I don't know what they're going to do to improve their side. They don't seem to have too many players back there home in Victoria, but they'll have a busy time ahead of them trying to analyse this match. Through comes Kelly. Can't take it with him. McGuinness. Kelly after it again. Scott and Gary Hocking over the top. And the umpire calls for a bounce at centre half forward for the Crows.
Well, I think they've got the personnel, Geelong. There's just a little bit of something inside.
Oh, what's that?
It's called heart.
Oh, good stuff, Donny. Bounce at centre half forward for the Crows. Burke can't take it away. Schultz nearly does. McGuinness leaves it. McCrabb can't take it. Scott tries to burst his way through. And a real struggle for all the players there at centre half forward for the Crows. And obviously the Adelaide fans, a few of them here clapping because those players will not let Geelong clear the ball away from half back.
Well, over 20,000. Something around 25,000 here tonight. Klug at the back. Hart. Buse. Had time to try and get to Bairstow, who's been pretty quiet tonight. He's returned to AFL football. He's kicked a half forward. Terrific mark by Schwerk. Under pressure, he's got Crows players everywhere. Goes long, not a particularly good kick, but it was too far for Hocking. Here's Hart, who had some wonderful moments. Hocking, this is Eddie Hocking. Hinkley tries to run him down. He runs close to the ground. Hart looks for a free kick, not there. Bruns. They're pretty tired, some of these players. Remember, it was 36 degrees in Adelaide at 6 o'clock tonight. Taken by Bairstow at centre half back. Bairstow goes wide, and Geelong now with a chance. Schultz, who can hardly raise a gallop. Well, you've got to feel sorry for him because he's played his heart out. Marshall says leave it. Klug doesn't, then he handballs it straight to McCrabb. McCrabb gives it across, and the Cats might get out of this.
Bairstow's high kick covers about 20 metres towards the Geelong goal, but that ball covered about 25 the other way. A big punch coming from Lee, and he gets a pat on the head from his teammate.
Well, that's a pity the Geelong defenders can't do what Lee did on that occasion. The ball covered 20 metres.
The teammate there was Lindsay, and they are really acknowledging the very, very hard work that their teammates are doing all over the field, the Crows. Darren Smith there, Andrew Buse, and in the background, Daryl Hart. Boundary throw in just inside 50 metres, and it favours the Crows. Burke tries to get it down to Bairstow. Bairstow clears back in towards the centre. One-on-one marking contest. The ball comes out the back. Hand pass. Goes back to McGuinness. McGuinness, long kick to the front of the goals. Punched away. Now's an opportunity here for Klug. A left foot snapshot is a miracle goal. Threw it on the boot. And
16-15, 8-11, 111 to 59. Klug has stuck to his guns tonight.
They're not frightened of pulling them off here, Adelaide, because Kelly's off the ground. Felke's come back on. I thought they've both been good players. I thought Kelly's done well tonight.
Malakalis, good tackle by Tregenza. Views a sweeping handball to Bruns. Bruns with a high one. He wants Brownless to take the mark. Smart at the back. Thompson, who's been pretty good back there. Jarman, Brownless, Bairstow, crunched by three players.
There's two Adelaide players tackling one Geelong. That's indicative of the way the Adelaide side are going. They're going at the ball. They're going hard at the ball. They may have given away the free kick there, but the intent is right.
So Bairstow from 50 metres. David Marshall on the mark. Strong kick to the goal square. Negri in the front spot, interfered with, no free kick. And the Cats go up to 8-12 to 16-15. Well, they were 6-1 on the sports bookie in Robertson. And
to win the Foster's Cup?
Yeah, and 20-1 Adelaide.
Well, you can write your own ticket, Geelong, and you can get on the Adelaide team, Bruce, because they've got some chance after tonight. The mark has been taken by Marshall. Marshall plays on quickly. Desperate stuff all over the ground. Tackling good, harassing good. Kicking just leaves a little bit to be desired. Their shooting for goal hasn't been all that brilliant. And here's the main offender, Hodges. He's got a chance to make amends here. Attempted kick off the ground, but he couldn't quite get his foot to the ball, and it goes over for a boundary throw-in. Now, Bruce, I think there was some word from Scott Palmer that if Adelaide, they go ahead and win this game and the Eagles win a match, we're going to have a night game in Perth. Was that what Scott was talking about earlier?
At the Wacker. It'll be a quarter-final of the Foster's Cup. If West Coast can get over St Kilda on Saturday night. Here's Bairstow.
Bairstow's kick high, back in towards the centre. Coming down is Scott, and he takes a good mark in front of Thompson. One of Thompson's rare errors. Off to Tony Malakalis. Malakalis' left foot kick goes up towards centre-half forward. No mark taken. Lindsay Dower in defence. Schwert, a desperate player. Malakalis can't get through. That tackle was pretty good. And the player back there is Lee. And just a second ago, I wrote down against his name, Desperado. A lovely little left foot kick to Jarman. Jarman's kick is a little too wide. It may sit. It does, but not soon enough for Klug. And we'll have a boundary throw in 50 metres from the Adelaide goal.
Incidentally, Scott Lee played at Hawthorn, couldn't get a game there.
Well, maybe that's where he learnt his desperate play, Don.
I think he's a wingman in the reserves at that stage.
And he just doesn't give much away. Can Hart get his 6th goal? He kicks to the front of the square. Hodges gathers it beautifully, but falls over. Maybe match fitness, a little down. Tregenza off the ground. And it goes out of bounds on the full. So a free kick to be taken for the Cats in the back pocket by Gary Hocking.
Hodges had only trained 1 week before the Essendon game. He kicked 4 goals that night, but the feeling was that he was just a bit behind the others in fitness. And tonight he seems to have run out of puff. Hocking. This is Eddie Hocking, who, as Don Scott said, is a real specialist off the interchange. Klug in the front spot. Strong mark against Schultz. It's pretty critical of this guy in the third quarter. He's stuck to his guns.
I tell you what, he's what would you call him?
Socks down, no nonsense.
Yes.
And there's Schultz behind. He's been in front most of the night, and he should learn that lesson. Don't be behind. That's not his go. He should always be in front.
That's the word I was looking for, Bruce.
Let's see if he can kick this. 30 metres out. Directly in front. And the crowd like it. It's another one.
And we're getting the loud clap here from the Adelaide supporters. They're pretty happy with their team's first performance in the AFL. It may only be the Foster's Cup, but it's the manner in which they've done it. The kick goes towards centre-half forward. Attempted kick off the ground by Smith. Ball comes wide to Bruns. He can't get past. Jarman always uses the ball beautifully. Tries to get it to McDermott. He's run down by Mansfield. Ball comes back to Hart. He may be slow, but he always has plenty of time. And the kick is effective. He finds Felke.
Well, there was 4-2 on that occasion in favour of Adelaide, and again, indicative of the way they're playing. It's inspiring stuff.
Now Felke Don't know his long kicking ability, but certainly he fancies himself from just inside 50. You kick right on the line, and it gets the distance, and it's a goal. No, it may be touched on the line by Burke. No, it's not. So it's raining goals here at Football Park. Felke gets his second, and Adelaide 18-15 are murdering Geelong 8-12. 63 points in favour of the Crows.
Well, he was a great player here for West Adelaide. Felke went across to Collingwood in 86. Only played the 16 games there. Really wasn't impressive. Came back here last time he was on and off the bench. He has been, but I've been very impressed with his speed and football knowledge.
123-60. Alan Joyce is one of the interested spectators here tonight, the coach of Hawthorn. They play Adelaide on March 22 at this ground in the opening home and away series. And that's a long way away, but it's going to be a big night, obviously. Bruns to centre half forward. Almost a one-handed of the Cats, but nothing happening for them at the moment. It's going to be a long trip back to Geelong.
There's also Ken Sheldon and Peter Hudson over here looking.
Well, they're from St Kilda, and if St Kilda beat West Coast on Saturday night, a game you can see on 7, then they will play the Crows. There's Lee. Negri couldn't take it. Burke misses the body. Hocking on Mansfield. Mansfield handball all right. Stoneham breaks one tackle. Felke just missed across the body there. Taken by Scott. The gift to Bairstow. They've got a chance here, the Cats. Malakalis. Exel provides the lead. The kick to full forward. Warhurst interferes with Exel. Yeah, he should have got a free kick. McGuinness really had no one to kick it to, and he was hoping for the safety of the line. Here's Stoneham. Lee tries to run him down, can't get him this time. Stoneham chips away to Exel. Beautiful kick, and Exel takes the mark in the pocket.
I would have liked to have seen him at full forward earlier, actually, Exel. He kicked a bag there a couple of years ago.
So Exel from the pocket.
And there's the replay. Good mark.
Good kick, Exel. Squeezes it through for a goal. Cats up to 9-12 to 18-15.
Well, the only interest left in this game is the margin. The Adelaide Crows will register their first win in the official AFL competition. Foster's Cup 1991. Negri nearly ridden home there by Hooper. Bruns, Marshall. Now an opportunity for McDermott. He shrugs the tackle and does it beautifully. Drop punt kick to the front of the goals. Hodges can't mark, but they've got 3 on the ground again. And a great Shepherd. His heart. He'll get his 6th. No doubt. Another goal to the Crows. And I'd love to see who that person was that did the shepherding back there, Bruce. A fair-haired player, and I couldn't quite pick it. It may have been Smith, was it?
Yeah.
It was a very unselfish bit of play. It is predictable stuff, but sometimes that predictable stuff doesn't really come off. And congratulations to that big fellow.
But the interesting thing is the way he kicks that ball there. He bends that in the air. Now, from our position, that was a point. But what a terrific kick for goal. He is a very elusive player, Darryl Hart.
He's kicked 6-1, which is a...
fine effort.
Well, I'd nearly suggest a best on-ground performance.
He's done a lot of good work. Negri in the ruck. Started with Central District, then went to North Adelaide to Hart under Michael Noonan. Bruns, well, Hooper couldn't take it.
It's uncharacteristic of Bruns to handball.
Now Bairstow, especially to Hooper. Bairstow with a high one. Quick kick by Gary Hocking, who's been quiet. Smart, takes a bit of courage.
He's a good player, this bloke, Bruce.
I think they've got a lot of good players.
Yep, my word.
Lindsay just sits there nicely, still running the Crows. And I think I'll buy both you and Don the Advertiser in the morning now. That's out of bounds on the full, Robbo. I think
I'm getting out before they print it.
Here's your best on the ground going off, Darryl Hart. So they're not frightened to change the Crows.
And it's interesting, Bruce, wasn't this guy in contractual dispute early?
Yes.
He must know his real value because he stood out for about a week or two until they came to their senses to come up with something worthwhile.
And he's repaid them tonight with 6 goals. Bairstow round his body. Exel versus Warhurst. Getting back Lindsay. Exel keeps it in play to Scott. Good tackle by Warhurst. The Crows are still at it, and Micken gives it to Thompson, who's been one of the unsung heroes tonight.
I think they'll all get some pats on the back from the staff when they go inside. Gary Hocking looking to play on, but the free kick will come back to Mansfield.
The other interesting player is Micken. I think he's done particularly well. He had an operation on his calves over the Christmas time, and really that's got him right, but he's playing as well as what he did when he first went to Brisbane.
I know that they really like him in defence, Mick, and they think he can do some good work back there.
And he's a big fellow, Bruce, which, good big fellows are hard to come by. Mansfield, a poor kick, swings with the breeze, but the mark is taken by Brownless. Brownless's short pass is okay, and the mark is taken by Malakalis. Now, he's too far out to score, I'd suggest. The windsock way over in the outer grandstand area, indicating that there's not much breeze, but certainly kicks look as though they've been going further to the left of screen. Malakalis's kick holds up to that end, punched away there by Micken, getting back as Hocking. Good roving, and the small player will take it away. He's still got a bit of dash left, and he's going to get caught with the football. Ryan gets the handball away for Geelong. He goes back to Bruns. Another switch has been made. It looks like McGuinness has come off. Geelong have the football at centre-half forward. It's Gary Hocking in towards the, across the ground, basically, a little closer to goal, and it's with Brownless. Kelly is back on the field for the Crows.
He'll score, Brownless.
And Brownless from 40 metres out. The kick, he gets underneath it. They all look a little weary, the players. But this fellow doesn't. Micken. He goes after Malakalis. And eventually, the ball is over. No, it's not. Malakalis and Exel. But he can't get past Warhurst, and the umpire will be forced to bounce in that left forward pocket for Geelong. So the Cats, well, they'll limp home tonight, I think, 19-15 to 9-12, and they've got plenty of rethinking.
Micken taps it out against Brownless. Micken formerly with West Adelaide and then the Brisbane Bears, and they'll just sort it out. It's 19-15 to 9-12. Certainly a one-horse race on the scoreboard. Thompson. Hocking, who made a dreadful error a moment ago where he really should have got it to Tregenza. And Daryl Hart's come off with 6 goals. Max Stevens, is he injured or just taken off for a rest?
Well, Adelaide officials have just told me, Bruce, that Daryl has a slight ankle problem and at this stage won't be taking any further part in the game, as you said, after his 6 goals.
Well, Bairstow Scott the 1-2. Scott's kicked the goal and he missed it. So Scott's now kicked 2-3 and it's 9-13 to 19-15.
How good's Hart going to be if he's fully fit?
Well, he played wonderfully well tonight, didn't he?
Oh, tremendous stuff.
In many ways, he was the inspiration that ignited the Crows.
At the start, it was great.
Warhurst out wide. Good mark by Thompson, who's been very impressive.
Yes, they've got a few of those guys. The numbers up the top there, 40, 41, 42 and 44. They're not usually the good players or the better players have got the lower numbers, but gee, they've been good, those players. They're forcing it forward just through persistence. Stoneham's got the football. A quick left foot kick goes back in towards the centre. The gather is by Devlin. He shows some promise, Devlin. The kick across his body is a bit of an up and under towards centre-half forward. It goes to the back. Ryan, let's see if the youngster can do something with it. Lindsay's the player in pursuit. And Lindsay, with experience, eventually will clear with the help of Thompson. And they've always had someone to give the player going for the football the helping out assistance. Marshall has it, runs around at centre-half back and kicks it wide. Comes out towards Smith, and he does well. A 6-foot-plus player, and he got down nicely. Here's a chance for Felke. The handball coming from Kelly. Felke's short pass is too high to Hocking. Back he goes again.
Good
Tries
play.
to crash his way through. Hooper, tackled by Kelly. The ball comes back. The rebound to Marshall. Marshall sweeping handball to Jarman. Constructive as usual. Left foot kick is long. Drop punt kick to the goal line. And it's through for a behind, but he's been down behind play. So a free kick will go downfield, or maybe he will get another chance.
I think he conned the umpire on that occasion. He's laid motionless, but he's all right.
Well, tell me if the ball goes over the goal line, if the ball has to land somewhere, doesn't
the umpire blew the whistle before the ball had gone down there, so he called it in flight.
Okay, the free kick will go down here to Hodges, and the angle, a very difficult one. He's kicked 2 goals, 6. And there's a good look at what is facing Scott Hodges in his attempt to kick his 3rd goal. And he hits the post. Well, there was no doubt about that one, Bruce.
For the second time tonight.
Well, we think so, but what's your decision? That earlier one, wouldn't it? It'd be a good one.
Oh, beauty. There's Daryl Hart, who kicked 6 goals tonight. A bit of an ankle injury.
7 points for Hodges.
Neil to bring her back in. I think Dunstall kicked 3-7 last week for Hawthorn. Well, they're dispirited at the moment, the Cats. Tregenza, all too easy. That wasn't good. Look for Marshall. Playing around a bit at the moment. Still Marshall. Trying to put the pressure on him. Hocking. Bruns was in there. Now Stoneham. And the fire's really gone out of it now. They're pretty tired. Thompson, who's had a superb game and an excellent last few minutes, to Lee. Lee bangs it back to half forward. There are players everywhere here. McDermott, who's been very good, came back into the team with Tregenza from the team that played against the Bombers. They were the only two changes in that trial match. And McDermott, who's played so many wonderful games for South Australia over the years. That was ordinary. To Filkey. And the Crows just going through a pretty ordinary patch themselves at the moment. Buse, they're still in over it. McDermott, that was better to Tregenza. And Tregenza looks like he might have kicked another one. He has.
And the passage of play that resulted in the Crows' 20th goal. Some positive stuff from McDermott, finishing with Tregenza. Back at half-back, Lee can't control it. Ryan's under pressure for Geelong. The handball goes towards the Crows' goal. Felke just gets his foot to the ball, but it's effective. Hocking goes to Tregenza. Tregenza the dasher. He'll kick another goal. Long drop punt kick. No, he won't. It's nearly a mark. The ball is still in the field of play. Negri going up and down in the one spot. He does a good tackle on Hinkley and forces that player to miss the hand pass to McCrabb and keeps it in the Crows' left forward pocket.
Good play by the big fella then.
Looking a little tired, but gee, this game started off at a cracking pace, and in this heat here in Adelaide, the players have done a magnificent job. Buse in the back pocket, kick across his body, taken by Smith. Smith, a long bomb from a standing start, close to the line, and he misses just to the right. So Smith has kicked two behinds. The leading goal scorer of the night has been Darryl Hart with 6. Hodges has kicked 2, Felke 2, Klug 2, and Kelly 2 with Tregenza 2.
Official attendance 20,069, and the margin's 70 points. And 20,000 of them will go home very happy, I'd imagine. The other 69 barracking for Geelong. Here's McCrabb. The centre half forward, Lindsay, who's been terrific tonight. His experience back there has been excellent. He's made very few mistakes. He's won a lot of hard balls. Gets around Exel pretty easily. Chips it to Micken. He's got a few options here. Look at Hocking at centre half forward on his own. It might get there now. Schwert, short to Klug. Couldn't take it. No free kick. Hinkley should have... well, it'll be a free kick down the ground. Or it's going to come back to Hinkley, is it? It's coming back to Hinkley. That's against Geelong, unfortunately for them.
Now, I just ask a question here. If that's a free kick, Don, why hasn't the umpire done something a little bit more than what he's doing?
Well, he's paid the free kick. What do you mean? Report? Using this report?
Yes, my word.
Well, we'll watch it here on replay.
Now, he's dumped the player after he's given the handball unfairly.
Brownless. Haven't heard you. Speechless for a while, Don. Anything to say?
Well, the umpires will probably look at that, and for the next few weeks they'll be red hot on it, but they've let it go. So Lee, get away with it. Good luck.
Well done by Warhurst to Lee. Smith. Strong hands. McCrabb did well. Hocking sweeps it to Filkey. To Smart. Can go all the way. Had Hodges on a lead and squeezes it in for a point. 9-13 to 20 goals 18. 71-point margin. 3 minutes and 13 seconds for Geelong to bear in this match, because it must be getting hard now, particularly for Malcolm Blight. Having a look at this.
Not bad for guys who've taken 5-4 the Crows. The kick in is taken by Hocking, and Hocking marks beautifully about 45 metres from goal, deep in that pocket. Hocking now gets around his opponent in Stoneham, goes for goal and pops it through. And away they go again. The fans on their feet. Their hands are sore from clapping because it's been a magnificent exhibition by the Crows, and the scoreboard is just all one way.
Well, that's arrogance there, and it's really rubbing salt into the wound. Hocking lining up for what you think's a goal. The ball gets around Stoneham and a goal. Good play, very confident.
Well, what a scoreboard. 144 to 67. You wouldn't believe it, would you? 12 goals, 5 the difference here. Micken against Burke. Bairstow. Exel. Well, Lindsay did well there. Now Scott for his third. Chips it away at goal and sneaks it in. They're still booing.
You know, when it's a goal, there's just no reaction whatsoever from the crowd. Very parochial crowd. And Robert Scott done reasonably well. Started exceptionally well in the first quarter. Put in a very, very big pre-season. He's been in the wilderness, football wilderness, for a couple of years. Had a good season back in the grand final year, but just hasn't managed to recapture that form. He's put a big pre-season in. Let's hope he goes on with it.
144 to 73 in the last couple of minutes of this first round of the Foster's Cup.
There's Damien Burke up against Mark Micken at this centre bounce. Umpire Hayden Kennedy. Nice bounce. Burke favoured by it. Gets the big punch away. Goes wide. Just Scott a little bit too far. Thompson working overtime. McDermott on the bottom of the pack. The tackle is by Devlin. Now Geelong get the advantage. Burke's kick finishes with Brownless. Brownless may get their 11th. And he does. A beautiful kick by Brownless. And Billy Brownless gets his second goal. And there's a huge roar from the Adelaide crowd. They are silent.
It's interesting, isn't it? I admired the way McDermott went after the ball then, but he was penalised. He was the only player that really did go after it. Thought it might have been a push in the back, but the umpire deemed it holding the ball. He made the play and Geelong capitalised.
And Billy Brownless has tried his heart out, really, against numbers that have been quite magnificent. The 6 defenders at any one time in that Crows defence area have been disciplined, hard-working, and have been very, very good.
Well, he kicked a goal we'll never forget from the centre of the ground here. Must have gone 85 to 90 metres. Micken and Burke. Couple of minutes remaining. Bruns. Oh, throws it away. Marshall, who's been very good. McDermott. Long and high. Hodges. Negri goes early. Hocking against Gary Hocking. Still Eddie Hocking from 40 metres. Drills another one home. It's his second. And smallest player on the park without any doubt.
But probably the quickest, Bruce. He has got exceptional speed, this little fellow.
He's been the surprise packet, Don. They didn't know whether he'd make it or not, but I think he's about number 54 on their list at one stage, and suddenly he's made it into the 22.
Well, good luck to him. That's persistence personified, really. Eddie Hocking. So not long left now in this match. Good bounce back in the centre. Micken, Burke, Hocking again. Going all the way right to the finish. Thompson, Hocking, unselfishly away to Micken. Micken's left foot kick to the front of the goals. Hodges, can't quite mark it. Klug, unselfishly, another goal. Smith. So Smith gets his first goal. And Adelaide, to the delight of the crowd, get their 23rd. And I don't know what the record score is in a Foster's Cup match, but this would be close to it. 23-18.
Now, this is just like a training run. The way they got the ball out through Hocking across to Micken, who sent it down long. Players running onto the ball. As I said, just like a training drill. And not one Geelong player figuring it all.
156 to 79. Well, you wouldn't read about it, would you? 23 to 11.
You will in the morning.
Sure would. On a match that Geelong officially started 7-4 on, and the Adelaide 5-4 against, and the two leading Adelaide newspapers, their leading writers both went for the Cats today, morning and afternoon. Tregenza with a quick one. Jarman and Hocking. Hocking caught by Jarman, able to get it away. Bairstow, who's had some touches in the last quarter with a fire out of the game. Malakalis. Exel. Getting back his lead. Gee, they're just relentless, aren't they? They refuse to give...
Well, they want the ball, Bruce.
One mistake there by Schwert. Refused to give an easy kick away. Kick by Bruns. Couple of Cats there in the box seat. Missed by Scott. Lee over the top of it. And it's going to be a bounce at centre half forward. So 156 to 79. And I think a lot of doubting Thomases after that first trial match against the Bombers will now sit up and take some notice, because Adelaide is definitely going to be competitive. There's no question about that. Ian Robertson reckons they've got a great chance of making the finals this year, because he thinks they might win most of their matches at home. Micken to Lindsay. Goes towards the boundary line, and he finds it.
I don't like admitting it, Bruce, because we were let down, I feel, before the game. I'd like to say something about that. Max Stevens has already mentioned that we couldn't get anywhere near the Crows hierarchy, and really all we're trying to do is promote the game nationwide, and I hope they've got a different attitude as far as we're concerned. All we're trying to do is find out who players are, what they're all about, so that we can tell the viewers at home. And Graham Corns, Neil Curley and company, please give us a chance next time we come to watch the Crows.
We know all the players now, Robbo.
Yes, they certainly do. They've been very prominent all night.
Micken and Stone, and Micken in the front spot. Malacala, siren sounds, and they celebrate here in fashion. 23-18, 77 with Hart kicking 6 to 11-13, 79. 156 to 79. 77-point win to Adelaide as we leave you from Football Park.
This has been a 7 Sport production. The Foster's Cup, proudly brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors, Westpac, BP, Carlton and United Breweries, Ultratune and Rocker Brothers.